So we're gonna do all IBJJF legal ones today. So we're gonna focus on knee bars. So we'll start with the standard one from half guard, right? I keep my frames because I think once he starts to cross face me, a knee bar on this leg is not gonna be possible. So make sure you keep your knee shoulder high here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna frame here, I'm gonna underhook, and I'm gonna switch to a lat post. So you can do one of two things. One is you could swing really far all the way over, or if you're more flexible, you can just cut right here. So what you can do is, I know reaping is usually not legal in the gi, but if I come over the top here, my hip is in good position, I can grab his heel and I can drag his heel out, right? The only time it's not legal for me to do that is if I use two hands or if I S-grip around. So now I can pull this out and then I start falling, making him roll all the way through as I cross my feet. Once I have him cross feet, I'm gonna go heel and go from like my rear naked choke. So what's important is the finishing mechanics, right? If I just bridge from here, there's not much. So I have to fall to my back a little bit to kind of angle his knee a lot better like this. But if I don't pinch at all with my knees, there's almost nothing. But if I squeeze really hard, now I go, it just goes right there for my knee bar. So if you just try to bridge right into the knee, you might even get like a sideways knee bar, which would be illegal. So you want to fall to your back a little bit to kind of square open his leg. All right, so we have that. So typically when I'm here, I'll be like framing, I come over the top, hip high, right? Because I don't want to be in this orientation here where then he's gonna start reaching for crossface and then sprawling out. And then I'm gonna lose position. So I wanna go hips high, heel, come over the top. I switch, 1 and 2. Make sure you pinch. Then you start going to your back and finishing. All right, let's go again. One more. So. Okay, so simple knee bar from half guard knee shield. All right, any questions? Yes. Yeah, if you use two hands to pull his foot over, kind of like maybe a better example would be, can you stand up, Ton? So Del Hiva. So Del Hiva, when I break him down, I can use this. But the moment I use two hands or I pull with two hands here, it becomes illegal because there's too much torque. But I can use one hand and then grab. So that's like a better identifier. You see a lot of guys get freaking disqualified for that. All right, okay, 1, 2, 3. So knee shield top, we go for our standard one. Remember, we're gonna overhook. You can flare this open a little bit so it's harder for him to connect his legs. We're gonna be posting, bringing our shin over. So right when we go through, we cross our feet and then he starts to figure 4. Right, so this would be a common defense. So what I can do is I can pull my right arm out, I go right to his toes, and I go for a toe hold here. So you could go for an A block, which would not be legal in the gi, so just go for a standard toe hold. So either you finish the toe hold, right, or he starts extending his leg here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna catch it with our right hand, and then we're gonna underhook with our left. It should happen really fast, and then I need to catch here. Sometimes he just will be moving this leg around. He might kick with his left foot and you can just stay on the toe hold and finish the toe hold. But if he ends up like just straightening his leg, yeah, just go through, we're gonna switch, and then we're gonna catch and finish the same way. So we're in our position. He might have his foot really far back where it's hard to reach, so you can underhook, pull this in here, and then I can go here. You can also, when he has a figure 4, you can start pulling this in here, underhooking, and then pulling right to the knee bar. So you have a lot of different options from there. So I have my knee shield, I scoot in, I flare open, I go thumb post, knee goes over, I rotate through, and I cross. He's gonna start figure 4ing his legs right away. I can either go, I can pull this in, I can start going for my toe hold. Either I finish, or he starts extending his legs. I'm gonna go 1 and 2, keeping this really tight, and then going for my knee bar. and then you have different variations. Just to make sure that your hip line is right in front, right? So if I'm grabbing this, I have to be right in front of Ton, like this. If I rotate my hips like this is where it's fucking stupid. This becomes a reap for whatever reason. I mean, there's no difference in terms of like danger for Ton, but just from here versus here, that would be the difference between finishing knee bar and then getting disqualified. So, yeah, I think there needs to be a new series out there. Yes?
So, when you're doing like the dynamic movement to get to that position,
yeah,
are you in the reap position? Or?
So, no, as long as you are like, you're kind of rotating here, and what's happening is his hips are kind of gonna drop. So I'm okay, because I'm facing his knee. So I'm good this whole time. And if his leg is free, I can rotate around him at will. But the moment I am like controlling this, now it becomes like an issue. Yeah. Okay, all right, 1, 2, 3, 50-50. He ends up coming up to his knee because he wants to stand up, right? So I'm gonna be doing like a shotgun grip here. So what I wanna do is hold my hips close, and I don't wanna leave my foot open like this when I start to cut my angle, because there's an inside heel hook right here. Go ahead and reach for it, Ton. So yeah, and then he could just absolutely demolish my shit. So what I wanna do is, if I put my leg for pressure, I wanna keep it like this, so it's harder for him to reach. And my foot is gonna go towards his lat, so then I can start breaking his posture. So as I start pushing, I'm gonna start rotating my hips like this. And then I can reach and pull his leg to my armpit, like that. So basically the movement is, we're here, I pressure, I reach, and I pull. Now, the incorrect thing would be just cross your feet and then bridge, because I need to isolate his knee more. In order to do that, I'm going to pull my right knee in and pinch like this. Now I cross, and then I bridge. And I keep that tension on his knee the entire time. So we're here, I wanna have a shotgun grip, I wanna be scooting underneath him a little bit, right? So it's almost impossible for me to invert this direction to go to backside 50-50. All of my attacks would have to be on this backside position. So I'm gonna start putting my calf and rotating my heel this way. I rotate and I pull. Now his leg is straight. And I can't just cross, because if I go here and I bridge, it takes too much. So I'm gonna pinch my knee in, pull like this. Once I feel like I can't pull anymore, I cross, keeping the tension on my knee, and then I bridge. So again, and it's a real quick, so I scoot, I'm reaching, and I go. One more. So the hard thing is rotating your back. If you need to grab this to help pivot, that's fine. So I'm scooting underneath, I use my calf, and I'm rotating so that it's hard for him. When he reaches for my heel, there's really nothing there for him to go for. Then I can start pulling and pivoting, putting this into my armpit. Now my knee is gonna be pinching and pulling. Pinch, 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 cross, and then I can bridge and finish. Okay, so this is like a knee bar with the armpit from 50-50. All right, yes?
So are you pulling like the back of his calf?
I'm basically pulling his, so the key is that once I get this angle, notice how his knee is still kind of bent, so I pull this to kind of open up his knee. Akash, you had a?
So if he turns his right leg that way, does it count as a reap?
So no, no matter what he does in terms of like his orientation in 50-50, it'll never be a reap. Even if we're in backside 50-50, so let's see, go to your butt, Ton, and then roll over to your right side. So this is still not a reap, because my leg is not actually putting inward pressure. The only time it would be a problem is if I'm hugging this and I start bridging forward like that. Then I start putting pressure on the inside of his knee. But here, because when he back steps to his, yep, there is no reap action. If I was over like this, now I can start putting inward pressure onto his knee, which is just a small variation from 50-50 to like a saddle position. And then if his foot is on this side, now it's even more pressure with the inside with his knee. Okay, all right? 1, 2, 3.